Right, it's Paul from Heritage. We're going to be fitting a Starlink system at this house today. So you can see behind me there's a garage there and the house. We've done work on this house previously, and we did a video of the external access points there. So we fit the Ubiquiti Flex HD external access points here last time. So one on the here and then one on the back corner. So this one here is doing this entire front area, and then the one at the back is doing the whole back garden area. So that one there is covering that. What we're going to do is, hopefully, we're going to fit the Starlink unit on the garage, end of the garage there, because his roofs are very high and very steep. That's his current antenna he's got there at the minute. Big T, big A. So the point-to-point has been in for 10 years there, and that's been fine for that period of time. It's been getting about 3 meg from that. So from his roof over that way, and then it seemed to have stopped working recently. So, you know, like I said, they were getting 3 meg anyway, which was rubbish. And then recently they've said the internet's been playing up. We contacted the company and they go, oh yeah, the point-to-point's not working anymore. It's lost its point-to-point. There's something in the way. So there's nothing. It's been like that for 10 years, and then all of a sudden they can't explain why it isn't working. So that's not very, that's not good enough really. So he's been paying like £100 a month for 10 years for a 3 meg download speed, and this place has got CCTV cameras, security, everything is connected to the internet and reliant on the internet. So we're going to be putting this Starlink system in to try and improve what he's got. And the one we fit recently, the guy was getting about 200 meg download speed, and it can vary as well. Hopefully on the end of this garage we've got a tall standoff bracket that we're going to mount above that window, and it will take it above the roof line, and then that's the actual Starlink antenna is going to be on there, hopefully. So at the minute what we're trying to do is find a cable that we can use, because the actual data cabinet is in the house. So we've got a bundle of data cables coming here. Obviously some are used, some and we're trying to find one that's not. So there's a telephone connection upstairs that it isn't being used on one of these greens. So we're just putting we just crimped an RJ45 end on. We're just using these identifiers and cable tester that we've got. We'll plug this on this end in here, and then up at the data cabinet there is a bundle of cables. Then we'll put the meter on that end, and hopefully we'll identify the cable. If we can use that, the antenna will go on here, and then it has to go into a conversion unit which converts that cable to RJ45 or Ethernet connection. Then we can use potentially use this Ethernet cable that goes between here into the house to the data cabinet. So if we can find a cable first, that's the only way that we can put it on this building. If not, we have to mount it on the main building and then route the manufacturer's cable that comes with it to the data cabinet, which would be a massive pain in the ass. So this would be a lot easier, and the antenna would be a lot more accessible for maintenance in future if we could mount it on this smaller building. Oh. Hey.
Hello.
This is the magic cabinet.
It's nothing magic.
Look at all this.
Yeah.
The apprentices just told me that I've got those two the wrong way around. So.
I think.
You better know. Right, so there's a green cable up in the garage which isn't doing anything. So we've just put an RJ45 plug on the end of that. This is an amazing device that allows us to sort of bell out cables. It will tell us how long the run is. It'll tell you if you've got you know, all the individual cables in the right order in the RJ45 plug. So we've got remote probes here, so this has got number 8 written on it. Plugs into the meter, and so you see it says number 8. It tells you the length of the cable, and all of the numbers are one end and the other end are consecutive, which tells us that all the cores are in the right order. So we're just going through the patch panel, and you can see you've got a big bunch of green cables coming into these 2 patch panels, and there's a couple of other
ones there and there, isn't there?
Yeah. So yeah, we're just going through. Let me just whiz that out, plug that in. What would be amazing now is if we got the right one. So see, even if there's nothing on the other end of it, it tells you how long the cable is. So there's nothing on the other end of that, but 80 odd foot. Ubiquiti router, the UDM PRO, which then gives you access to UniFi OS, and that's a really nice piece of software to use for managing your home network. It's really nicely laid out. It allows you to more easily manage all of your Ubiquiti access points. So there are some access points in here from a different manufacturer. We're just going to take those out, so that, because we were here a couple of months ago, a few months ago, just putting some more access points in Ubiquiti, and so we're changing a few of the others out for Ubiquiti, just so it's the same ecosystem and it just makes it easier to manage. Yeah, it's a 19-inch rack mount, so it can go, this is a standard rack size, so it can go anywhere here, and then we just patch one of the outputs into, well, we'll probably do one output into this switch. Actually, there's nothing in that switch, is there? So
That's not on, is it?
doesn't look like it's on.
Right, so Tom has used the meter and plugged into all these patch panel connections, and we've proved that it was none of them cables, yeah? And then if you look in the back now, there was a load more cables stuffed in the back of here. So what we've done instead is strip all the ends back and bell them out this end to the garage end, and it was none of them.
Nice neat job.
Yeah, and then there was this little telephone box just stuffed in the back down there with this plate on, and this green connection here is the one that goes to the garage. Right, so this is the gear that's turned up. So this is the Starlink antenna. They've sent a floor bracket as well with it, so you can just have this if you were staying anywhere, outside camping, even camper van. You could just take this with you and you've got an internet connection. So we're not going to use that obviously because we're mounting it on a wall. So we've got a specific bracket for standing it off the wall, and then we've also, that's a little router that comes with it, and then this connection here changes it from, yeah, there you go. So that's the connection that comes with the unit. So it's just looks like a micro USB, and then it converts it to our Ethernet connection, and that's how we can send the internet signal down the Cat6 cable into the house, hopefully into the data cabinet and into the new Ubiquiti router that we're going to fit.
Right, just unboxing.
I've not done the other side. Oh.
Okay.
Very sharp now.
Oh, look at that packaging.
Oh, can I do one?
Okay, so we've got UniFi Dream Machine Pro. You don't need a knife for this. Look at this. Watch. Oh.
Oh, just make a pop.
Can need to squeeze it and pop it.
Just look at that. Look at that. I mean, you just hate unboxing videos, but there's something about when something's packaged really well that speaks to the geek. Right, so this is a Billy. This is Ubiquiti Dream Machine Pro. So it sort of works as a switch as well because it's got 8 outputs. Here's the primary input. You can put a hard drive in here as well, so this can act as a brains for if you've got, there you go, Ubiquiti cameras. You know, it's one sort of ecosystem, so you put a 3.5-inch hard disk in there, as big as you want, and then you do cloud recording, can access that from anywhere. We've installed this elsewhere, and by and large it's been absolutely rock solid, but there are occasions where it might be down because it's out of range of the satellites, whatever, so you can have a backup internet connection. So we're in a rural location here, so the customer's got, what, maybe 3 or 4 meg point to point, but we could leave that in place and just have that plugged in so that if the Starlink ever went down, worst case scenario, it's still got, 3 or 4 meg internet if it's if uninterrupted internet is required. But actually we've also installed some wireless gate access, some smart gate controls here, which needs constant internet access to talk to and from Doorbird. So yeah, in this instance we'll probably recommend that we get one of these little modules to adapt that to an RJ45 connection so that we can plug in that point-to-point internet so that there's no downtime on that.
We're in the middle of taking some stuff out of this rack as well, so this is where we're up to at the minute. There's just clutter in there, trying to tidy it up a little bit, but this is probably beyond like tidying it up really well. We probably need to, this needs taking out and starting again in the correct shelves, putting it in, and for all the amplifiers, and you see it's all just very messy and it's all just leaning onto things and not stacked properly. Things are just swinging on at the back there. There's just like a unit that's just swinging on the RJ45 connection. So yeah, this needs completely taking out and redoing if you want to tidy this up. So there we go, antenna installed. So it's an individual standoff bracket that we needed to order for that, and then the unit clips into the standoff bracket, so that's a separate piece you need to order. And then it rotates, tilts and twists whichever direction it needs to get the cable through the wall. Because it's manufactured ends, you need to unplug the end out of the actual antenna, not the other end's too bulky. So there's 2 manufactured ends. So this is the unit here. So yeah, there's a plug that end there just pulls out of here. So you have to pop this out of the arm, mount the bracket first, and then you pull this cable out of here. We've drilled a decent sized 20, 22, 25 mil hole, and then from the inside we have to poke it outside and then through this, and then plug it through the arm and then plug it back into here. So this is the end that is the narrower end to get through the hole. The other end is quite chunky. I'll show you that in a minute, and you won't get that through a hole. So yeah, this is what you need to work inside out with this cable. Yeah, so we've just got to put a clip on that, a couple of clips on that now, and that's okay. So there's a phone point there doing absolutely nothing, that was fed from Ethernet cable. So there's just one twisted pair being used for the phone point. So that's what we disconnected out of that telephone socket before upstairs in the data cabinet, doing nothing in here.
So that is a piece of luck because it meant that we could mount the dish on the end of the garage as opposed to the much higher house roof. And so just on the other side of this, we've got the dish. We've got the cable coming back in, and Paul's just done a very neat job.
This cable isn't ours. That neatly clipped one there.
That is nothing to do with us.
And all this stuff down here is nothing to do with us. Already here.
So I think the cable that it comes with is 75 foot maybe even 100 foot. So there's a lot of that we just bundled up. This itself boots out Wi-Fi, so we're just going to test it with the built-in Wi-Fi of that. But then here's the cable that we've pulled back, put an RJ45 crimp on it. This is a separate adapter that you have to buy separately that converts the proprietary cable into Cat6, and then this is going into our Dream Machine in the house. So we'll just juice this up, and we'll set up the built-in Wi-Fi. There's then a mode on the app where you can set it to pass through if you've got, you know, a home network set up like we've got here. I'm sure there's safer places that we could do this, but we're just going through the setup process on the app. So it's like a little wizard. You just pick which dish you've got, confirm. We've already got a location. We've already plugged it in. We just need to join the network. So open Wi-Fi settings. So it should come up as saying in a moment. There we go, Stinky. Obtaining IP address. Right, okay, cool. So that's joined, and now we configure the network. So for the time being, we'll just call it test, and then password. Just I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There we go. So it just reboots, and then that should be done. Beep. Pixel 5.
62.
It's better than 3, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, cool. 20 upload. What a mess. What are you doing?
Removing all the dead wood that's not been taken out. So it looks like in here he's had a TV system fitted there, which is a new one, and then all these infrared plugs to his skybox, and then the old HDMI over Cat6 over HDMI units are all still in the back, plugged in, powered up. Just HDMI's just going to nowhere, or patch leads just going to nowhere. So we're just trying to take out all the stuff that's obviously not doing anything. Take out this old switch here that's not doing anything. Try and free up a bit of space in here and tidy it up as best we can while we're putting the new router in. This is everything in that cupboard that wasn't doing anything. And it's still not the tidiest, but new router's there now. We took an old switch out that wasn't doing anything. We're going to take this router out and take this Cisco controller out. But there's a bit more room in there now to move around, but it's still not the tidiest, even with all that mess taken out.
Right, so we're just in the settings of the app. A couple of extra functions. There's
snow melt, which is quite cool. So if you know, if you're in a remote location anyway, somewhere where you get a lot of snow, you can heat it up so that it doesn't impede the signal. You can put it into its default position so that you can put it back in the box for shipping elsewhere. You can, yeah, factory reset. This is what we're looking for because we want to now make use of the Dream Machine Pro that we've just installed here. Bypass Starlink Wi-Fi. So there's just a little bit of a warning there whereby I think we'd have to do like a factory reset to then use that as a standalone Wi-Fi router again, but that's fine. So we're just going to click on save. Okay. So that's going to save it and just refresh it, and ultimately it'll probably these get greyed out, I think, the network settings, because we're no longer using this as a network. There we go. So the network options are no longer available. So what we're going to do now is plug the other end of that into the Dream Machine. You see it's actually prompting us to plug in a supply of internet. Let's see what it makes of that. I've just plugged it in. There we go.
It's just a dream machine, isn't it?
It is a Dream Machine.
All of it.
So let's see what sort of speeds we're getting on the laptop.
So that's the patch lead to the laptop supply in, and that was just another patch lead out, ready for tomorrow to go into the network switch above it.
This is when the laptop doesn't have any battery.
Beautiful.
Yeah, straight away, as soon as it's just picked up that plugged into the Dream Machine for the first time. Let's just so now it's saying internet connected. Let's just give this a name. Next. Yeah, so auto-optimize, yeah. Starting speed tests. Give me some speeds. Oh. Tells you the service provider here. Right, so we've got 154 meg download, 26 upload. Right, finish, and that has been added to the customer's account. They've already got a couple of UniFi access points. We're going to add a few more around the house. So yeah, this is just go through an automatic setup process, so we'll just leave that doing what it's doing.
Right, so this is what it looks like on the phone. So you need to download the UniFi network app, yeah? Then when you've downloaded that, log into an account. There you go. So it's easier to use than the desktop, and it's keep it constantly signed in then, and you can also set up push notifications if you want to within all the settings for it to ping you emails and messages, or within the app if something's a problem. So that all could be set up as well. So it's easier just to have the app on your phone, log in once and remain logged in. So there we go, click on that. Right, so if you are in the house and you're connected to the wireless network, you will push the proceed button. If you're trying to connect remotely at the bottom there, which is if you're connected to somebody else's network, for example, your own mobile network or somebody else's Wi-Fi, we need to connect remotely. So we push connect remotely. Otherwise, if you go on the other one, it just won't recognize it and won't allow you to log in. So this is what we've got. Basically, that's the dashboard again, as it is on the desktop, just condensed. And then on the bottom row there, you've got everything that we had before, the network
access points, devices connected to it, usage and traffic and settings. So like I say, it's just a condensed version. Much easier to use this than use a desktop, but the desktop is better if you want to go into the settings a little bit deeper.